What's going on? This is your man, John Fortune, your host of the Frustrated Fan Sports Show. And today, I'm going to talk about the Rookie of the Year. Without a shadow of a doubt, nobody doubted that Jayden Daniels was going to be this year's Rookie of the Year. And it was solidified with the trophy at the NFL Honors. And there was no rookie more deserving than him. I mean, like, when you think about what he did this season, it is like absolutely mind-boggling at the type of season Jayden Daniels really had and really put on. I mean, he sat up there and showcased the fact that not everybody is going to be sitting there. When the conversation just last year was about, our rookies being pushed and being put into positions earlier than they should be. And then all of a sudden we get a class of rookie quarterbacks that come in and showcase the fact that they are ready for the next level. Now, a lot of these guys played a bunch of games, with the exception of Drake May, but still, they played well enough this year to sit up there and people say, well, it can't be the rookies. So it can't be the fact that we're pushing them too early or our expectations for them are too soon. The rookies did very good this year. The rookie quarterback class actually did pretty well this year. And the fact that they did as well as they did, we're talking about a group of guys that really were phenomenal this year. You can also throw in Spencer Rattler in that group as well because he did pretty well when he came in for New Orleans also. So, and that's another thing, a lot of these guys from the quarterbacks from the rookie class last year, they will be starters this upcoming season. Like Michael Penix will be a starter in Atlanta. Spencer Rattler will be the starter in New Orleans. Of course, Jayden Daniels will be the starter. Caleb Williams will be a starter. Drake May will be a starter. Bo Nix will be a starter. And you're talking about that's what, 6 guys? So again, you're dealing with a group that actually sat up there and showcased the fact that, for all the talk of our rookies being pushed too early, especially the quarterbacks, we've now seen a bunch of quarterbacks look very good in this from the last year's class. And this upcoming class, they got some guys that are actually very solid guys, but not as great as the guys from the previous, not from Jayden Daniels' group. But this is about Jayden Daniels. When you talk about a quarterback who basically put the franchise on his back, to sit up there and showcase the fact that losing for him was not an option. Even though, Washington did long, but it wasn't because of him. It wasn't because he went out there and was throwing all these interceptions or getting sacked all these times or having all these fumbles and stuff like that. He went out there and actually propelled the team to a stratosphere that nobody was expecting. Not one single person was expecting. I mean, he had 3,568 passing yards. That's really good. Now, it's not the stats of C.J. Stroud from last year, but we can sit up here and say that what we saw this year was something we were not expecting from a guy. Remember, I told y'all there were milestones he had to hit, coming into the league. The first thing he had to do was throw a touchdown. He did that. You know what I'm saying? Then he had to rush for at least 50 yards in a game. He did that. Then his next grouping of stuff that he had to do was throw for 200 yards in a game. Have a receiver who catches for 100 yards receiving in the game. There were milestones he had to hit. By the time he got to I think it was the Cleveland game, the Cleveland or Arizona game, where it was like, and he still has milestones he had to hit. He still hadn't thrown for 3 touchdowns in a game. He still hadn't thrown for 300 yards in a game. At that point, he still hadn't rushed for 100 yards in a game. So the fact that he did all of that tells you at how great of a rookie season he had. Not only that, to march the Washington Commanders, who everybody felt was not going to win anything more than maybe 6, 7, or 8 games, to march them into the NFC Championship game, one game away from the Super Bowl. Like, that is something that is like absolutely mind-boggling when you think about a rookie season. So, yeah, of course, like I said, this is one of these things that, we haven't seen. I think that maybe, because I think that Dan Marino had a fantastic rookie season as well. But when you talk about what this guy did, like, this is just absolutely incredible. And I'm going to tell y'all something. I'm so glad that he's our quarterback. I told y'all, I knew he was good. I didn't know he was going to be this good. And I made it very clear about that. I said, look, I do think that he's good without a shadow of a doubt. I seen him play. I said, the only thing that reminds me of, he reminds me of RG3 when it came to the running, because it just didn't seem like he took care of himself. You know what I'm saying? But guess what? He got a bad hit where he got hit on those ribs, had to endure that, and then came back and came better and protected himself a whole lot better. So, in fact, guess what? The RG3 comparison, he was a better passer than RG3. That's without a shadow of a doubt. I said that when the draft time was coming around. I said, look, he's a far better passer than RG3. But when you think about it, guess what? RG3 won the Rookie of the Year as well. He won the Rookie of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year, when he came into the league as well. But RG3's rookie year was nothing compared to this. Now, I will say, RG3 did face better competition that year. Now, that's something that people have to understand. That season that RG3 had, he did face some top-level competition. And remember, he wasn't really categorized. He was categorized as one of the best rookies that season. But remember, the team didn't start winning until the second half of the season. Remember, Washington that year was 2-6 at the beginning of the season. In the first 8 games, they were 2-6. They were not the team that it was like, oh, this is going to be a solid team. They were not that good. It wasn't until the second half of the season that they started to come on. But you're talking about with Jayden Daniels, this was a consistent season. All season, he showcased that he is going to be the reason the team wins, and he's not going to be the reason that the team loses. And that right there, to me, was enough. We saw a young guy go out there and become not only a superstar, but an elite star. And you're talking about 30-something years, like 30-something years to try to find your quarterback. If RG3 would have worked out, do you understand that we would have had probably one of the best transitions when it came to quarterback, to go from RG3 to Jayden Daniels? And all you sit up there and say is, only if RG3 could have got out his own way. But even with that, you're still talking about he had to deal with injuries and stuff. Jayden Daniels didn't have to deal with injuries like that. RG3 came into the league already injured. So, again, Jayden Daniels doesn't. And RG3 only got us to the first round of the playoffs. Jayden Daniels gets us one game out of the Super Bowl. One game out of the Super Bowl. And we just went up against a very dominant team in the Philadelphia Eagles. So, congratulations to Jayden Daniels. But again, there was no doubt about it. The fact that he got 49 out of 50 votes is absolutely insane to me. I mean, I don't understand how he was not the unanimous decision of Offensive Rookie of the Year. Like, there's no way you're going to tell me that anybody had a better. Like, don't get me wrong, Bo Nix did well. Bo Nix did very well this year. But come on, man, like, there's no way. And then on top of that, for all the guys that were put in that statistic as well, Bo Nix very deserving. Malik Neighbors deserving. Brian Thomas also deserving. And I think it was somebody else who was also there. No, I think that was it. Oh, and Brock Bowers. The fact that all them were considered. I mean, and rightfully so. But the fact that Jayden Daniels wasn't the unanimous decision, it kind of shocks me. But again, fantastic rookie season. Like I said, I can't say enough, man, about this guy. And and it's not just about a rookie being just the best in the NFL. For him to revitalize an entire fan base, for him to wake up the sleeping giant in the Commanders, for him to have people actually say, you know what, the hell with this, we are the Commanders. With the hell with the Redskins, that we are now the Commanders. That right there alone is enough to give a guy credit, because again, you don't get many players who are able to uplift a fan base that has been dormant for so long and has dealt with so much losing in this process. So it's not just about him being one of the great rookies of the NFL. For him to set up here and basically revitalize a fan base that was all out, that were still fans, but were all out. And this also goes to the factor of, Adam Peters making sure he didn't move out of that spot. Adam Peters being certain that, hey, if we're going to go with somebody, hey, let's let Chicago take Caleb Williams, but let's make sure we take Jayden Daniels. And the fact that they did that and was rewarded with such a stellar season from their rookie and Jayden Daniels, you just can't say enough. His professionalism, his demeanor on the field, everything about him screamed Rookie of the Year. It actually screamed MVP, but I'll get to that a little bit later. But, again, this was a phenomenal season for our rookie. And I just can't wait for the future years as we keep seeing our rookie keeps gaining the accolades and eventually wins us a Super Bowl. I do feel that Jayden Daniels will win one. Or I think he might win more than one, because he's that good. And understand, this was only year one. Guess what's going to happen year two when he goes out there and he does training with everybody? Now, I do want to say this. This upcoming season, I do want Jayden Daniels to work with certain former quarterbacks this all season, because there are some guys that I think would benefit him well in working with. And the three guys I want him to work with, and this is just me talking about this. First, I want him working with a guy like Warren Moon, because I want him to develop the ability to manage a game, even when to manage a game so well and understand the players on the field so well that no matter who's covering that guy, he's always going to get the ball directly on the spot. I do feel that Jayden Daniels is supremely accurate. I think that if he works with Warren Moon, he could become even more accurate. The next guy I would like to see him work with is Cam Newton. The reason I say Cam Newton is because for a guy like him who runs as much as he does, I want Cam to show him body control. Because I don't want him to be one of these guys that he does a fantastic job getting down, getting out of harm's way. But I want him to still have that element of understanding that when he's going down or when he's trying to achieve certain things, that he's not going down too fast, or he can't get that last little bit of yardage without getting himself hurt. Cam Newton was very good at body control when it came to sitting up there and getting certain things. Remember, he was the 4th-and-1 king. That is something that I want Jayden Daniels to learn. I want Jayden Daniels to learn body control and body control and body manipulation from Cam Newton. Last but not least, I want him to learn accuracy on the run. Because not only accuracy on the run, but accuracy going to his left as well. And the only way he can get that is by working with a guy like Michael Vick. Michael Vick never gets as much credit as he's rightfully deserved. Michael Vick on the run is probably the most accurate quarterback we have ever seen. And we're talking about a guy who ran a lot. Michael Vick was so accurate on the run that there were times that people would be like, how in the hell did he get the ball in there? Like, I want Jayden Daniels to learn accuracy on the run and accuracy going to the left from Michael Vick. Those are the three quarterbacks that next year I would love to see Jayden Daniels work with these three guys come next year, because he's already looking elite already. Imagine him having body control, more accuracy, and the accuracy on the run. We're talking about a quarterback that could possibly go into the season and not be able to be stopped at all. So that's just my take. But again, Jayden Daniels, Rookie of the Year. Feel good about it. I'm excited about him being Rookie of the Year. Fantastic season. Now I'm going to talk about some of these other NFL honors that was given. Josh Allen wins MVP. I don't like Josh Allen getting this award, not because I'm a hater or anything of that such nature. I don't like the fact that this was probably his worst statistical season. And in comparison to the other guys who got votes this year, for him to not have better stats than all of them and still win league MVP, this to me screams of people whose vote needs to be taken away. Because what will happen next year if Josh Allen really does have an MVP worthy season? I mean, like, if Josh Allen goes out there and he really goes out there and has an MVP worthy season, will you just give him Offensive Player of the Year, or will you give him league MVP? You know, like, to me, you give a guy an award he rightfully deserves. You don't give it to him because he's never gotten one, which was the fans from Buffalo argument. Oh, he should get one because he's never gotten one. That's not why he should get one. He should get one because statistically he was the best quarterback in the league. He was without a shadow of a doubt the best quarterback in the league, or the best player in the league. He wasn't that this year. And the fact that he was given an award when he wasn't the best at his craft is a very sad thing. When you talk about 28 touchdowns, do y'all know that 3 quarterbacks had 40-plus touchdowns this year? When you think about Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, and Baker Mayfield all had 40-plus this year. Then you throw in the guys who had 30-plus this year, and Jared Goff and I think Geno Smith. You're talking about guys who outperformed him. You're talking about even in interceptions. He wasn't even I think he's 4th on that, because I think Justin Herbert had less interceptions than him. I think Justin Herbert only had 3, which is why it was such a surprise that he played so awfully in the playoffs. And he threw like 6 picks in the playoffs. You know, like, so that right there is crazy. Lamar Jackson only had 4. Lamar Jackson had 4 touchdowns, 40-something touchdowns, and only 4 picks. That's crazy, people. Then you delve deeper into it. He didn't have the best passer rating. I mean, the best passer rating that year, I think it was, I think it had to be, was it Jared Goff, I think? And then even with that completion percentage, Jared Goff had the best completion percentage. So the fact that he was given an award in a season that he didn't deserve the award is crazy to me. Absolutely crazy to me. And I can't get past that. I'll also say this. The fact that Jayden Daniels wasn't given a nod for MVP, like not even given a vote for MVP, that's crazy to me. That is crazy to me. And to me, again, like, if Josh Allen can win the MVP in a season when he wasn't MVP like at all, that's troubling for me. That tells me that everybody who has a vote needs to get their votes taken away from them, especially everybody who voted for Josh Allen to win the league MVP. He was not MVP like this year. He really wasn't. And I understand that people are going to say all types of stuff. I don't understand why he doesn't get the exact same criticism that Lamar Jackson gets. Everybody say, well, Lamar Jackson can't be considered one of the best, or I won't consider him one of the greatest of all time until he gets over the playoff hump. Nobody's saying that exact same thing for Josh Allen. And it shows in this MVP win that he doesn't have to be great. He just has to be mediocre enough so that the votes can make sense. That's sad. That is very, very sad. And not only that, let's talk about the Offensive Player of the Year. Why is the Offensive Player of the Year not the MVP? Why is the Defensive Player of the Year not the MVP? If that's the point, throw this award away. Throw the MVP away. Because the MVP is not a real award. It's a trash award. Because if you can get it for being mediocre, then this award doesn't need to be around. It just needs to be thrown in the trash. Offensive Player of the Year went to Saquon Barkley. Why was he not considered the league MVP? What we saw this year out of Saquon Barkley, we knew he was, like I said, to me, Marshall Faulk, greatest running back I ever seen. Saquon Barkley, number 2. And I've seen some running backs. I've seen Emmitt Smith. I've seen Barry Sanders. I've seen Corey Dillon. I've seen Curtis Martin. I've seen a lot of running backs. Saquon is number 2. Right, but I've seen Adrian Peterson. And again, when you talk about all-around backs, complete backs, Marshall Faulk for me is number 1. Saquon Barkley is number 2. But again, the fact that he wasn't MVP. Now, here's another thing that goes along with this. Josh Allen wasn't even one of the top 5 guys for Offensive Player of the Year. Somehow he wins MVP and wasn't even one of the votes for Offensive Player of the Year. How in the hell does that happen? But guess what? Three of the other 5 guys that was up there were in fact nominated for Offensive Player of the Year. Saquon Barkley, Joe Burrow, and Lamar Jackson. So you're telling me, how does this make any sense? How does it make any sense? I can't. To me, this league MVP to me turned into the participation trophy. And everybody can feel how they want to feel. This year's league MVP turned into the participation trophy because Josh Allen did not deserve that trophy. And then for him to not be nominated as Offensive Player of the Year also extends to why I consider this year's MVP the participation trophy. This was this year's participation trophy. The league MVP was the participation trophy this year. And I don't care how people feel. I don't care what people say. Y'all can say what you want. This is the Frustrated Fan Sports Show for a reason. You don't do that. And that right there, like I said, everybody's vote should be taken away. Next, let's talk about Defensive Player of the Year. Again, another award where, again, guess what? Offensive Player of the Year. Jayden Daniels wasn't nominated for that award. He should have been. Don't get me wrong, Jamar Chase deserved it. Derrick Henry deserved it. But Jayden Daniels should have been put in that award as well. But again, I'm not mad at who was nominated. Not mad at all. I understand it. I get it. Now let's talk about the Defensive Player of the Year. Again, very good selection. My personal opinion, Patrick Surtain, he did a fantastic job this season. Was very good this season. But I will say I felt that Zach Barnes should have gotten it. In comparison to where he came from and where he started at and what ended up happening this year, Zach Barnes should have been given the Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, he had a phenomenal season. And without a shadow of a doubt, this guy was excellent this year. And I'm kind of shocked that he didn't win it. But Patrick Surtain had a very good year. And there's without a shadow of a doubt, Patrick Surtain did deserve it. I'm not going to say he didn't deserve it, but I felt that Zach Barnes was more deserving of the award than Patrick Surtain was. With this award, I'm also kind of shocked that Jared Verse, who was the defensive rookie of the year, did not get a nomination for this award. Why are we not nominating the guys who are doing just because they're rookies? That doesn't mean anything. These guys, this last year's rookie class did so well last year. The fact that, again, even with Bo Nix, Bo Nix could have gotten a nod for MVP, but again, I'm just saying, like, defensive player of the year and Jared Verse, who's the defensive rookie of the year, the fact that he didn't get a nod, Jared Verse had a fantastic year as a rookie. And the fact that he wasn't given a nod for defensive player of the year, he wasn't even nominated for it. Like, that's crazy, y'all. It's crazy. Again, this voters group should more than likely be like moved out because they did not do a good job this year. They did not do a good job at all this year. There is no way Jared Verse did not get a nomination for defensive player of the year. And when you think about Myles Garrett and Trey Henderson, who both had good seasons, Jared Verse was on their level this year. And I ain't saying he's going to be just like them, but when you talk about his play this season, Jared Verse was right there. He was right there with him. So, and then not only that, assisted in the turnaround of the Rams defensively this year. So, I don't know what to say, man. Like I said, I'm just lost at that. Joe Burrow was given comeback player of the year. I felt Sam Darnold should have won that, rightfully so. Sam Darnold had a fantastic season, and he should have been looked at as comeback player of the year, especially after you're talking about a guy who was the number one overall pick, a guy who fell off who basically had fallen from grace, was looked at as, like, I think at one point he was a third-string quarterback to come back, become one of the top quarterbacks in the league, and have a fantastic regular season. I do feel Sam Darnold should have won that. Joe Burrow, I understand statistically Joe Burrow was great throughout the whole season. But when you talk about comeback, there's no bigger comeback than being from the third-string quarterback to the starter and have a fantastic statistical passing season. I do feel that Sam Darnold should have won the comeback player of the year award. Kevin O'Connell wins coach of the year. Again, rightfully so. Dan Quinn for the Commanders got a nomination. I am absolutely surprised that Nick Sirianni didn't get a nomination for this. Nick Sirianni deserved to get a nomination because when you talk about guys who sat up there and was criticized the entire year, like, remember, they had put Nick Sirianni on the hot seat, and people were talking about him getting fired this year. And to sit up there and battle through all that, have your team have a very good season, and march the team into the Super Bowl for the second time. Like, the fact that Nick Sirianni didn't get a nod for Coach of the Year, that's not a good thing, because, he could at least got nominated. Like, it's not about him winning, but he could have got a nomination, and he would have been deserving of a nomination. Like, sometimes I kind of think about, like, why is everybody, like, kind of doing it? Andy Reid. Andy Reid, I can understand things like voters fatigue when it comes to Andy Reid because he would just be the repeat champion every single year. But Kevin O'Connell rightfully deserved it, but the fact that Nick Sirianni didn't get a nomination, not a good look. Last but not least was the assistant coach of the year. It was won by Ben Johnson. Crazy thing about that, I just talked about Nick Sirianni. Vic Fangio got a nomination for assistant coach of the year. What? And you didn't give a nomination to Nick Sirianni? I'm blown away by that. Also, Cliff Kingsbury. Cliff Kingsbury didn't get a nomination for assistant coach of the year. Again, when you talk about a guy who was basically excommunicated from the league, kicked out of the league, to come back from college and not only lead an offense, a new vamped offense with a rookie quarterback, while assisting with developing a rookie quarterback, set up there and actually built his offense to help and assist with this rookie quarterback and his great season. Cliff Kingsbury didn't even get a nomination. Like, the fact that he didn't get a nomination is beyond me. Like, I don't understand how the voting goes about and how they come about it, but this even goes back to the Hall of Fame. Like, the fact that Darren Woodson is still not in the Hall of Fame is crazy. The fact that Torrey Holt is getting in the Hall of Fame after Kurt Warner is crazy. Like, I mean, I just don't understand how a lot of this voting happens. And like I said, for me, it's just crazy. But like I said, again, to all success for all the winners. Again, I just feel that this year's MVP was nothing more than a participation trophy win. Because I mean, for him to not even had like the best statistical season, wasn't even like the most elite of elite when it came to his numbers in the season. And again, you're talking about he has the exact same amount of success when it comes to the playoffs as a Lamar Jackson does. So again, I just feel that this year's MVP was the worst. But again, congratulations to Jayden Daniels, Rookie of the Year, should have gotten the MVP nod. Y'all tell me what y'all think. How do y'all feel about what I'm saying? How many of y'all feel that Josh Allen got the win, got the nod, but he didn't deserve it? How many of y'all feel that way? How many of y'all feel he did deserve it? How many of y'all feel that some of these nominations weren't fair nominations and should be considered differently? Y'all tell me what y'all think. Other than that, this has been your man John Fortune, and this has been the Frustrated Fan Sports Show.